really excited to have you here joining us today, and hope you enjoyed the webinar that we've got planned for you. So what the heck has happened? What's been going on over the last few months, and particularly over the last 6-9 months? Well, this is a quote that we've got from Andy Gove from a while back, and I think it's still really, really important. Andy Gove was talking about the cloud when he said, effectively, we're at a complete inflection point where nothing less than a fundamental shift in strategy is sufficient. Now, he was talking about the cloud, and that's still particularly relevant for accountants, but we believe it's even more than that. It's become even more important. We believe this is absolutely a defining moment for our industry and our profession. And are we content to continue to report on history, or are we going to listen to what our clients desperately need and want, desperately looking for, and help them create history? I hope you're excited about helping your clients create history, and this is absolutely what today's webinar is all about. It's about helping your clients double their profits in 5 easy steps. And that's a good catchy title. It's actually been one of our most popular keynote speeches that we've done over the years, and we've done this worldwide, this talk. We've completely updated it and reimagined it for the world we now live in. I hope you're going to enjoy where we're going today. Now, imagine if your clients were to say to you, oh my goodness, I'm absolutely overwhelmed. I've never thought about my business in that way before. Or imagine if they said to you, nobody has taken the time or shown me that about my business. Or can you imagine if they were to say to you, I can't wait to get started. This is so exciting. Or I've never been so excited about my business. I want you to help me with that right now. Well, just imagine that. Today isn't all about technology. If you've come on today to think that because of clarity and who we are, this is all about technology, you know us probably long enough. You've heard us speaking in the past. Technology for technology's sake is never going to work. Technology only ever fits in when it's accompanied by the right people and the right processes. And that's absolutely in the right proportions too. Technology is never going to replace people. It's always there to do the heavy lifting. And this is about how do we make sure that we can help the most clients in the most efficient manner possible in a way that's profitable and effective for the firm, but is actually delivering value and at a price that clients are prepared to pay for. This is what it's all about. This is what technology does for us. It's not about technology for technology's sake. And hopefully you'll absolutely appreciate that from where we're going today. So a brief introduction to us. My name is Ainsley Demery. I'm the CEO of Clarity. I am a qualified chartered accountant. I have recently handed in my practicing certificate, but I still consider myself an accountant. So when we talk about us as accountants and we, then I'm talking about the collective. And for those of you that don't know anything about me, I left KPMG and built and sold my own multi-award-winning, multi-million-dollar revenue accounting firm. We focused heavily on providing business advisory services to niche high-growth entrepreneurs and small business owners that were looking to grow. Now, I built that firm from an existing compliance practice, compliance only, so that's accounts and tax returns only. And we were very early adopters of cloud technology, probably back in 2008-9. And it was clear from an early stage that it was not technologies for technology's sake, as we've discussed. It was technology to enable us to deliver a better client service and better client experience. So this is what it was all about, added value for the client and doing it in a way that actually meant it was efficient and effective for the firm, but also great value for the client too. We won a huge number of awards for the way we did business, innovation, business advisory, culture, change, brand, you name it. And I'm not telling you that to impress you, it's just to impress upon you that accountants can make a massive difference in this world. We have the ability to make big changes in small businesses, and Steve is going to take you through that. And once I mention Steve, hi, Steve. Do you want to introduce yourself too?
Thank you very much, Ains. Good morning, everybody. Hello, or good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're joining us from today. Thank you for being here. Very similar to Ainsley, my journey. I'm a chartered accountant as well. I sold my firm a few years ago, and I started that because the regional firm where I trained and worked, they were happy just being a compliance-based firm. I knew I wanted to do more to help my clients and to get involved and help business owners. Knew that we had the power as accountants to be able to do that. So I started my own firm, and like Ainsley, very early into cloud, very early and focused very much in niche business advisory. And because of that, and because I could start from scratch effectively with cloud from the beginning, I was able to scale my business very quickly and make that very successful. And then I was able to sell that later on. I actually wrote an international best-selling book about the methodology I used in my accounting firm, and that I've used since as well. And lucky enough to win a few awards along the way too. So thank you, Ains.
Great. So just a little look at some of the awards we had won and take you through the agenda for today. Now, we're going to give a brief introduction to Clarity. What we then want to focus on particularly is what small business owners are looking for, what that means for you as a firm, and the next steps, and what next steps you need to take to be able to deliver what small business owners are looking for. Now, everything we're going to take you through today works for your firm too. This is about helping clients and about adding value to clients, which inherently adds value to the firm. But the same methodology could be used on your firm too. And you'll see as we go through how applicable to you it is. Now, when I was in practice, I felt I always had to be authentic, and I was never going to talk to a client about something that we as a firm didn't do. So for example, customer service, if our customer service was rubbish and we were talking to a client about customer service, then it just wouldn't gel. So we always took the view that we wanted to practice on ourselves first before we started on clients. Now, that's obviously not possible for everything, but for some of the big things that we want to do today and talk about today, these are things that you can practice on your own firm first, get experience, get comfort with it, get the team involved, and then that makes it so much easier when you're then talking to clients and rolling it out to clients, and you can talk from a place of experience. Of course, when you're doing this with more and more and more clients too, then you can use the experiences from other clients to tell stories. And this is what it's really critical, so that you've got an ability to back up what you're saying, and nobody can say to you, well, that doesn't happen in your firm, or that doesn't happen with, you don't do that with other clients. Then you can say, absolutely, yes, we do. And this is the success that we achieve. Now, the methodology we're taking you through today is an award-winning methodology. It works, it has worked, it continues to work today. It is about following the right steps in the right order. And I hope as you go through this, you'll understand that that's the case. And we're excited to bring this to the fore and actually update it for 2021 too. A little bit about Clarity. Our purpose is to give every single business owner in the world clarity. Clarity so that they can build a better business for themselves, a better life for their family and team, and ultimately contribute towards a better world too. And this is not just about clients, this is about accounting firms too. Given where we're at the moment, this is about fitting our own oxygen masks first. We need to be successful, scalable, sustainable, so that we can help our clients become successful, scalable, sustainable. So definitely, it's about fitting your own oxygen mask first. And I think as a profession, we care so much about our clients. Oftentimes, we focus wholly on them to the detriment of our own firm. And this is about taking time out, having the permission to take time out to work on your own business, because working on your own business is critical to be able to support your clients too.
Thank you, Ains. Now, before we get into the nuts and bolts, as Ainsley said, we're going to stand in the shoes of our clients. So we're going to look at what business owners are facing, what's going on behind the scenes, and looking at it from their perspective. So the first thing we need to address is, well, why is small business so important? Why does it really matter? Now, if you look at any of the statistics globally, that you will see that the vast majority, so 99.9% of businesses, that's typical in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, very similar. I think it's about 99.5 maybe in Canada and the US. Globally, I think it's 95%, but in the Western developed world, if you want to call it that, it's 99 point something percent, which is practically every small business contributes, all of the businesses that make up the private sector in each of those countries. So there's the first realization that, wow, okay, there's a lot of businesses. The next thing, though, is that of those private sector employment, 60% of the employment is from those small businesses. So the small businesses in each of those countries are contributing to the lion's share of all employment in private sector in those countries. And then when we look at the revenue generated in private sector, again, the majority is from small business. So the snapshot really tells us that small business is actually big business. So individually, okay, yeah, there may be small businesses and not really, they may be doing a 50K, 100K, 200K in revenue, a couple of employees, that type of thing. But together, all of those small businesses together have a massive impact, not just on the local economy that they're contributing towards with those employments and and the good work that they're doing locally, but also nationally when we take a big step back and look at the macroeconomic position as well. So we just need to understand that to begin with, and we can see actually small business is big business. So small business really does matter. And the problem that we have, though, with small business, and you're probably familiar with these statistics as well, is that the success rates or the failure rates, whichever way that you want to look at it, the success rates aren't great. The failure rates are high. So within the first 5 years, only 4 in 10 businesses survive, which is extremely low, extremely low. And if we take that figure out even further, it's 1 in 10. So that survives 10 years, and that is just shocking. And we'll certainly look at the problems in a second. But again, let's just take that into our minds as an accountant, is that we've got this ability to help these clients, and this is the situation. So let's stand in their shoes. This is the situation that they're in. They've done something. They're putting all of their life and energy and sweat and tears into something, and likely they are set up to fail. So we need to do something to help them. The challenges, though, so why do they fail? So again, looking at it from their perspective, while the world is complex, there's so much going on. We live in the information age as well right now. There's so much information that we're drowning for knowledge. There's so many different hats to wear as a small business owner as well, that they're doing things on their own or with a small team. They likely have many different roles. So they don't necessarily have the time to do everything that they need to be able to do. But if we look at the statistics again, we'll see that why small businesses fail? Well, the reason, 2/3, 67% is the last number that I saw recently, was 67% of businesses fail because they run out of cash or they don't have access to funding. But if you think about it, that's really the symptom. That's not the cause why they fail. Yes, running out of cash is important, like running out of fuel in your car. You won't be able to go anywhere. It's the same principle with business. But the reason why they actually fail, the cause of that symptom, is not having a clear plan. And when I say a plan, we're just really understanding. It doesn't need to be, a 50-page document that details their SWOT and pest analysis and everything else that you see in these business plan templates. Really, the nuts and bolts of it are the numbers. A financial plan, looking at how profitable the business model is and what drives that business model. Something very simple, yet powerful and easy for us as accountants to help our clients with. And ultimately, clients either don't understand their numbers or don't have time to look at them. And then the challenge that they have within their own business is that the data is potentially unreliable, because either they're doing it themselves and it's not right, the way that they're doing it isn't correct potentially, or it's not up to date. We've seen that throughout our journey. I'm sure that you can relate to that too when you're speaking to clients and prospects, that the numbers in their accounting software are either not up to date or there's some errors. And that's because, the client didn't get into business to be an accountant. That's what they would do if they wanted to play with the numbers every day. And they probably question why we did. But they got into business to do what they wanted to do, to make a difference, to be their own boss, to make more money, whatever it would be. They didn't get into business to look at their numbers. So they do need our support with that. And if we can get them to understand their numbers, they will make better decisions. And from there, they can build a better business and have better impact on themselves and their team and their customers and suppliers and their family, obviously, as well, and then contribute ultimately towards a better world. So it really, you can see how we can extrapolate everything down from that small, tiny business to having a massive impact on a global scale. Helping small business owners really is the key to everything, to helping solve the world's problems and humanity's problems right now. So that's why businesses fail. These are the challenges that they're currently facing. And interestingly, making a move from their challenges, they do want help to solve these challenges. So if we look at a survey that was conducted not too long ago in America, but this was also conducted in Australia and in the UK recently too, just a couple of them swapped places around, but it's still the same top 5. What do small business owners actually want from their accountant? It isn't accounts and tax returns, because let's face it, they don't value them. They see us as the agents for the tax authorities and the company authorities filing their accounts and tax returns. They don't value that at all. Yes, they like to be kept out of jail for sure, and the deadlines need to be hit, but they don't value them. They begrudgingly pay the fee for those particular services. What they really want is someone in their corner, a trusted advisor, someone they can turn to help them, that can understand their business, what's going on, and give them good advice on what's going on with their business. And when we say trusted advisor, we don't mean you need to be a seasoned veteran in business and understand all of the strategies and business models out there. No, you don't have to be a management consultant, none of that. All you need to be able to do is listen and ask good questions. And simply a good question could be, oh, why is that number like that? And then delve deeper with the client and understand what's going on, and then ask them, well, what are you going to do about it? Really, that's what being a trusted advisor is giving the client another perspective and asking those questions that they may not have thought about themselves. Because again, coming back to what the position business owners are in, they're busy, they don't have time for numbers, they don't have time to think, they can't see the wood for the trees. So we're there to be able to help them and say, okay, what's going on? Let's just take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What's going on here? Giving them that time and space to actually think and answer those questions helps them solve the problems themselves. So we're there as the mirror, effectively. We don't have to know all the answers. The client already does. We just need to ask the right questions. So they want us to be able to do that. They want us to respond quickly to queries. Absolutely. We're in the Amazon age where you can order something and get it delivered the same day. That has set the expectation up for everything in life now, that we want it instantly. Absolutely, that's what clients want. They want us to be able to understand their business or their industry, for sure, so that we can be able to advise them best and say what's going well in other businesses potentially. Be affordable, absolutely. And again, that comes back to demonstrating value. So I think that also means being a good investment, having a good return on investment with regards to affordability as well, but also looking at affordability within the business and communicating in a clear way, non-jargon. That makes absolutely sense that the clients want us to do that. However, to be able to do all of those things to every single client in your accounting firm is going to be a challenge, unless, as Ainsley mentioned earlier, you leverage the technology, get the right processes in place, and then have the people leverage that technology and process, get the technology to do the heavy lifting, use the processes to get everybody doing the same great work and getting the same great results every single time, and having the right people in the team to be able to use those processes and technology. That's really the only way going forward that we can provide this level of service to our clients. Yes, of course, we can throw people at this and employ loads of people to be able to help our clients, but then you're not going to have a business yourself, because it's just not going to be sustainable and profitable to be able to actually do that. So let's use what we have available to us to be able to help our clients be able to do that. Now, I say us as accountants, being able to deliver this to our clients, absolutely. We have the skill set, the fundamental skills, and the ability to help small business owners achieve what they want to achieve. And if we can move the needle just a tiny fraction on those survival rates, we'll have a massive impact on the local and national economies. If we think about this as well, you can see on the slide on the screen that accountants, we do have this superpower, and bookkeepers and advisors, we understand numbers and we can explain them to people. And numbers are the language of business. So for us, it comes very easy and natural to us. And sometimes we might think, well, if I just explain this, it just doesn't seem valuable because I get it. We have to stand in the shoes of the client. They don't understand it, or they don't have time. So us pointing out the obvious may well actually be hugely valuable to the clients. We certainly need to go there. There was Prince Charles, who was speaking at an ICAW anniversary dinner not so long ago. He said that accountants and bookkeepers can actually change the world. And we fundamentally believe that here at Clarity. You certainly have that superpower, and so do your team as well. So what does that mean for you? So we've looked at it from the client's perspective. What does this mean for you? So we know that the challenges facing accountants right now, there's mass competition, there's low barriers to entry in accounting. Anyone can start up from a kitchen table or the bedroom, or however you want to put it. So there's low barriers to entry. So we really do need to differentiate on value and not on price, because the downward pressure on pricing is there. You've probably seen it over the last few years. We've actually seen a report recently that shows that over the last 5 years, net profit in accounting firms has been doing this nosediving by 41%. And that trend looks to continue unless something is done about it. And we will certainly discuss that in a moment. But we also have challenges with regards to the regulatory changes and legislative changes, thinking of MTD, auto-enrollment recently as well, and all of the other good stuff that's come in over the last 5 years. And the challenge, though, really, if you think about it, is that we and our teams are time-starved in the accounting firm. And there's lots of potential reasons for that. But if we strip everything back and look at the core cause, we're looking at the business model of the accounting firm. The business model worked 30 years ago when it was compliance-only world. We're not in that world anymore. As you can see, clients want more from us, and we need to be able to deliver that. We have a huge amount of technology that's helping drive efficiencies, but also having the expectation of clients that things should be done quickly as well. To deliver that type of service, we're having to cut margins. We're not as profitable as we used to be. And then everybody's servicing more clients that then potentially they can handle and do a good service for. So if we can get out of that vicious circle, that time for money, regardless of however you price, whether it's time-based billing, menu pricing, value pricing, we're still in that same business model of time for money. So if we can change that to a virtuous circle and looking at value driving that, coming at it from a perspective of understanding where the client is, which we've just gone through, and then delivering them value, clearly showing them the value that we can help them with, we'll get away from this time-starved mentality and be able to actually implement the right things within the business. Now, because of those challenges, we know that we need to introduce new streams of revenue, but potentially that could exacerbate the problem. And it's tricky to do that with everything else that's going on. So where do you start? Advisory is obviously one of those streams of revenue, business advisory, but it can be difficult to scale if it's not done in the right way. And there may be a lack of understanding as well of what business advisory actually is. People tend to have their own view. And we'll certainly cover that on the session today as well. And crikey, there's lots of technology and apps out there that just make our job harder to try and keep up with things. So we're certainly going to go through that today in terms of how we can help lighten the load and solve some of these challenges too. Now, there's a conception that compliance is dead. It definitely isn't. We're always going to need compliance. Clients are always going to need to make sure that their accounts and tax returns are done correctly. Whether a robot does it or not, it's still going to need to be done. It's still humans doing it at the moment with the help of AI. But we still need to deliver that service for clients. And if you think about it, that's the foot in the door for you to then have better conversations with your client and lead on to other ways of helping them. So really what we're talking about here is how can we take that compliance view and that old compliance business model, if you like, and combine it together with a business advisory service or approach and business models so that we are then helping the clients get to where they want to get to and ticking those boxes as we saw earlier and helping move the needle just that tiny bit, even if it is just that tiny bit, on having a fantastic positive impact on the local and national economy. How can we combine those together? Well, that's what Ainsley's going to go through right now, looking at it from your client's perspective.
Now we want to get into the meat and bones of how do you double your client's profits. Again, just to reiterate, this is an award-winning framework. It's worked in practice. It's worked in the past. It's continuing to work today. It's a tried and tested methodology, and it's one that's built around simplicity. Making business simple is one of our key taglines and one of our key missions. And this is what this framework effectively does. So let's dive in. This framework is used worldwide. This framework is the exact same methodology that's used for wealth management advisory, tax advisory, business advisory, marketing advisory, cake baking advisory. This is absolutely the exact same framework. And this framework is used by Bain, is used by Accenture, it's used by all the large accounting firms, right down to small niche business advisory firms in Cheltenham. This framework is pretty much business advisory. And it is this simple. It is about helping your clients or understanding where your clients are now, where they could or should get to, calculating that gap, creating a plan to close the gap, and measuring and monitoring the results versus the plan. It's no more complicated than that. This is business advisory. This is wealth management advisory. This is tax advisory. Every single advisory engagement worldwide follows this framework. Now, of course, we can go deep or we can go light, depending on the size of the client or the size of the engagement. Absolutely, we can go light or go deep. This is about providing an appropriate level of service for the client at the appropriate fee level that they can afford to pay, that's valuable for them and is profitable for the firm to deliver to. Now, we're going to take you through this framework today, and we're going to take you through how you can do it light. So this is about the 80% of clients out there that desperately need your help and support. Those are the 80% that are looking to you to be that trusted advisor. They're looking for the intelligent friend to be there, the critical thinker, the person that they can share their issues and challenges and the problems that they're facing. Because let's face it, most small businesses have nobody to talk to. Business is lonely. A lot of their friends are employed, and those friends that aren't employed, that are working for themselves, it's very difficult to admit weakness and to show failure to your friends. Whereas with your accountant, in a safe, trusted environment, you can share your issues, challenges, hopes, fears, what's going on in your life, what problems paying the VAT bill, what problems with your team, what problems with getting new clients, new customers. This is an amazing service just by being there, and that trusted friend and that intelligent friend, that critical thinker, just by being there and listening, we're providing an amazing service. But this is also about helping the clients take the next steps. But to do that, we need to understand all these 5 steps. Now, too many accountants jump straight through to 5. And why business advisory has failed in the past is that everybody jumps through to 5. And they have lots of tools, and either technology-based tools or paper-based tools, and they jump straight into 5, whether that's KPIs, dashboards, management reporting, you name it. And focusing in on 5 is just one part of the puzzle. And until you take your client with you along the journey, if you go straight through to solution, you've lost them. And this is why so often in the past business advisory has failed. And let's be clear too, where as accountants, and again, I'm including myself here, as accountants, we often sell the product, we often sell the features. We flog a Fathom report, we flog a Spotlight report, we flog whatever, business plan. This is what you need. You need a cash flow forecast. The client's going, do I? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to pay that much for it. What's it going to do for me? We go straight through to solution. Most small business owners, let's be clear, whether it's time, money, freedom, however we want to fluff it up, ultimately they want more money. And that's what we should be selling, the future, selling the outcomes. It may, of course, not be money. It might be more time. It might be they want to retire earlier. It might be whatever their goals and desires are. That's what we should be selling them. But ultimately, it's going to come down to more profit, because to get retired early, to sell that business early, to make the maximum and maximize the value of the business, it's all based on a multiple of EBIT. So we do need to help them boost their revenues and boost their profitability to enable them to absolutely buy time if they need to get more time and want to take more time off the business. So make a more profitable business so they can employ more team to be able to free up their time. It's about ultimately profitability. So let's help our clients understand how they can become more profitable so that the business can deliver what they're actually looking for. And when we're talking to clients as an accountant and asking what they want out of life, what they want to see in their future, it's a very different conversation, and we're putting ourselves on a very different level. When we're doing accounts, we should be saying to our clients, now you've got your numbers, let's talk about the impact of those numbers. That's exactly the positioning that we need to be taking our clients through if we're starting from a compliance-only perspective with either that client or maybe with our practice. Now, I get it that the top 20% of your clients will be loved and cared for, naturally, inherently. Whether it's structured or unstructured, you will be delivering business advisory support services to your top 10, 20%. They're paying you the best fees, you're in constant contact with them, you're asking the right questions, they're telling you what they need, and you're delivering it. And this is not to replace those relationships. There will always be in the world a need for bespoke care delivered by the top managers and partners in the firm and done either bespokely on, say, Excel financial models or ad hoc support and advice or ad hoc meetings that are necessary. This is not to replace this. This is how we can standardize, systemize, and scale business advisory so that for the other 60% of our clients, remember, 80% want business advisory support from us. We're probably giving it to 20%. So those other 60% of our clients that desperately need our help and support, this is how we can standardize it in our firm to make sure that everybody gets the support and help that they need. And let's take you through that model now. Again, we're focusing here on the standardization and systemization of this. This is not about going deep. I'll show you and give you a slide that you could photograph at the end that will give you areas where you can actually get more deeper into each of these steps. Here I'm going to give you the light touch, not light touch, that's unfair. This is about giving you value for your clients, but at a price they're able to afford to pay, and doing it in a way that means that most of your clients can get this help and support because we're engaging the entire team. So the very first stage is helping your clients understand where they are now. And quite simply, this is based on these 7 key numbers. Now, as Steve said, clients don't get their numbers. Numbers are the language of business. Accounting is the language of business, as Warren Buffett said. We understand accounting. We understand the language of business. Our clients don't. When they nod at us, they're afraid to tell us they don't understand numbers. And in fact, this isn't just about small business. This is boards around the UK. They often look to the CEO who's going to say, yes, the numbers are good. And they can all go, thank goodness for that, because I haven't got a clue what's going on with these numbers. This is big boards that don't understand numbers. It's not just about small business. We need to help our clients understand their numbers. Now, as accountants, too often we also say, when the client says, oh God, Ainsley, I don't get numbers, and that's what you're here for. And accountants often go, yes, that's what we're here for. We are desperate to please as a profession. But ultimately, we need to help our clients understand the financial impact of every decision they take. They need to understand the financial implication of every decision they take. Because if they have to rely on us continuously, we can't be in their business 100% of the time. They need to understand their numbers. We're doing them a disservice by not helping them understand the numbers. And wanging out a management report once a month or once a quarter without talking to our clients and taking them through it isn't helpful. Wanging them out reports from Futurely, Fathom, Spotlight, you name it. I've got nothing against those products. They are great products done when they're used properly for the right clients and in the right way. This is not criticizing reporting tools. This is just saying reporting on its own doesn't help. Clients don't get their numbers. Reports with lots of numbers on them don't help them to understand them even more. Now, these are the 7 key numbers that affect pretty much every single business worldwide. Okay, some people will say, yes, Ainsley, but with a rental business, maybe GP isn't as important. Well, okay, maybe GP isn't as important, for example, with a rental business. But maybe we should be taking in account the true costs of renting that property in the costs of sales. And so maybe we could be looking at GP from a rental perspective a little bit better. And again, there will be some industries where some numbers will be more important than others. But from an accounting perspective, if I knew those 7 numbers for your accounting practice, I could absolutely get a massive picture of how you're doing. In fact, from an accounting angle, I only need 1 number from you. If you tell me your revenue per employee, I will know exactly what type of accounting firm you are. I'll know what your results are. I'll know how efficient and effective you are in your systems and processes and what you're delivering for your clients. I only need 1 number from you as an accountant to know how you're doing. If I had all 7, I'd have an even bigger picture of your business. Exactly the same for your clients. If they know these 7 numbers, they will have a massive view of their businesses. Now, this isn't to say that certain KPIs are more important for certain businesses, and maybe some non-financial KPIs are also relevant. This is about the 80%, remember. Of course, if a client's prepared to pay for us to develop a KPI exercise to create a 1-page plan or whatever for them, absolutely, that's the right thing for that client. And maybe things like number of meetings booked or utilization rates or footfall into the store are important. But for most businesses, they won't have the ability to pay for a KPI exercise. And just chucking random KPIs at them doesn't help. But if you focus on these 7 key numbers, you'll give them an entire picture of their business. And again, this is 7 clients for your clients to remember, not difficult. 7 numbers for your team to remember, not difficult. Both can help each other understand these 7 key numbers. Now, obviously, revenue is here for obvious reasons. Revenue growth can have the biggest impact on the bottom line. And in fact, that's why most entrepreneurial organizations are born, is to help grow top-line revenue growth at the cost of everything else. As accountants, you know that some revenue growth doesn't create a scalable business. You know that sometimes revenue growth will make a business go broke. Now, this is about us being the best people and the best placed profession to help small businesses. We're not going to let clients put on top-line revenue growth for the sake of everything else. We can help them. So revenue growth is one of the biggest contributing factors to the bottom line growth, but it's done in the right way. and the right revenue. It's the right revenue mix. And it's the same for accounting firms too. It's about the right revenue mix. Gross profit percentage. Breaking down the GP line by product or service is one of the greatest things we can do for our clients. Now, if we're just processing their books to do the VAT return, we're not probably getting into the nitty gritty to be able to help them understand what's generating a contribution to overheads and what revenue lines and what product lines are delivering the best for the amount of effort and risk that we're putting into them, what that's generating as a contribution towards overheads. Once our clients understand why, we might need to break down their product line and their service line by GP percentage. Then they might understand the value of actually doing proper management reporting, proper bookkeeping, not just processing VAT returns. Operating profit obviously is a vitally important number. Valuations are based on this. Bank lending decisions are based on affordability. Operating profit is a critical number that we need to get our clients focused on. And too often, we don't focus on profit. And that whole profit first methodology that's come around, Steve and I think just switching the formula doesn't really make it any better. We think ultimately it should be the way that people focus. But profitability is an important number that we need to be focusing on. And that's, again, not dissing profit first. It's just, I find it odd that just switching the formula makes people go, oh my God, I get it. And if it does, and it strips back the complexity and makes it simple, then that's a great thing to do. Revenue per employee is an amazing number that gives us a huge insight into the business, into the systems and processes and the intellectual property and the ownership and where it is from a technology perspective is a starting point. Also, the efficiency of the team and their ability to follow the systems and processes in the organization and the staffing levels. So it gives a holistic view of the business. And it's a wonderful number to really help get our clients get their teeth into and get into. And obviously, there's no right answer here. It's about increasing revenue per employee. Of course, there are bands and there are benchmarking that we can do. And for example, in an accounting firm, the right revenue number is about 125 to 250,000 pounds sterling. That's 250 Aussie dollars for those in Australia. That's the number that we should be aiming for, revenue per employee from an accounting firm. And this is all our employees. This isn't just about chargeable time and chargeable staff or billable team members. This is about the entire team. Now, we know, obviously, some accounting firms are maybe at 35, 40, 45, and there's a huge way to go. This isn't about pointing fingers. This is about helping people understand where they need to get to. It's the same with cash conversion cycle. This is cash days. It's the how long every pound you spend, how long it takes to come back into the business. There's no absolute right answer. We just need that number coming down. Amazon works on negative numbers, so they're getting in money before they spend it. Most businesses don't have that luxury. They have to stock inventory, they have to have a production process, or they have a work in progress if they're a service-based business. And so there's a period of time that maybe they can't advance bill, or they can't monthly bill, or they can't bill in advance. But these are things that we need to be working with. And as Steve said, business owners don't get cash. How many clients say to you, I can't have made that profit, where's all the cash gone? It's a classic comment. They don't understand the difference between profit and cash. They don't understand the movement of cash. They don't understand whether their business is generating sufficient operating cash. By not preparing cash flow statements for our clients in the annual accounts or in our management accounts, we're doing them, again, a massive disservice. Ticking that exemption box doesn't help. Clients need to understand how they can turn profit into operating cash, the most important type of cash. It's not about financing cash and investing cash, although those are important too. This is about how the business generates sufficient operating cash, and the effectiveness in management of turning revenue into profit and profit into operating cash is a critical success story for a business. And we need to be helping our clients understand that. Now, this isn't about short-term cash flow planning. This is also about the bigger picture. Short-term cash flow planning can be important, especially during a crisis, but focusing purely on short-term cash flow can have a detrimental impact on the business. As Steve said, it's like driving your car, looking at the fuel gauge, you're going to crash. Looking at your cash balance only or your bank balance only, you're going to crash. This is about the holistic view. And again, looking at numbers such as core cash target, which is universally recognized as how to create a resilient balance sheet. And that's effectively 2 months overheads plus taxes set aside. Now, can you imagine your clients in COVID, how resilient they would have been at the start of this had they had 2 months overheads plus taxes set aside? This is a standard number used worldwide. Again, a great number to aim for. We know small business owners strip their balance sheet, and their cash balance, but this is about helping them get and plan for getting to the position where they're in a more resilient position, building that balance before they dividend it out or before they invest in any growth. Now, we know small business owners rarely are able to scale from existing reserves. They almost always need access to outside finance. And that's about helping them get access to the right cash at the right time, helping them with that funding gap, helping them with the right funding at the right time, at the right price. And again, as accountants, we have that in spades. And business return is about whether the business is giving them a big enough return for their effort and their risk in the business. Would they be better just getting a job? Would they be better just putting the money into a bank account? Is their business return less than 5%, or is it up in the 25, 30%? That's as simple as it is. And again, critical for us to be able to help our business owners understand. Now, that number we have to be a little bit careful on. We can't insult the baby often. But again, numbers, simple numbers that give us a complete overview of a business, its success, where it's going, and also giving that client that ability to. Now, there will be other numbers, absolutely, but these 7 numbers cover pretty much every single business. Now, how can we help our business clients understand where they should get to? And how can we understand ourselves where we should get to? Well, those 7 key numbers, again, bringing simplicity back to the fore. I was invited to an event in Florida run by Tony Robbins. He was looking for a UK accountant to become an accountant for their members in the UK. And I got invited to an event where there were 10,000 business owners in this convention center. Very exciting event. And I'm not making any comments on Americans, but they were very enthusiastic. There was dancing and singing and lots of activity going on. But at one point from stage, Keith Cunningham, which is one of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad writers and the creator of that methodology, was walking them through from stage Jay Abraham's 4 Ways to Grow a Business. And, you know, we all know as accountants, probably 4 ways to grow your business. It was used probably in the 80s or 90s or early 2000s. I wasn't around in accounting then, but I've certainly seen the methodologies that have been used by the various networks from then. I'm not that old, thank goodness. If you look at the 4 ways to grow your business, you probably go, oh my God, that's just so basic. That's ridiculous. Why would a client want to go through their 4 ways? Well, I saw from stage 10,000 business owners being walked through the 4 ways to grow their business. And there were heads in hands and people gasping and going, oh my God, I never realized that. And I was looking at them thinking, I don't know what we've done as a profession to so overcomplicate business advisory, the process of accounting and the process of business. How can we have gone so wrong when we laugh at the 4 ways to grow a business, yet business owners are lapping this up and getting a better picture of their business? So this is about making business simple, stripping back the complexity. Remember, it's a complex world as it is. Drowning our clients in more information isn't helpful. They need bite-sized nuggets to be able to take action and absolutely move their business forward. So magically, our 7 numbers turn into the 5 levers of success. These are the 5 levers that affect the profitability and cash position of almost all businesses. Now, of course, we could break down revenue into average transaction size times number of customers. Of course, you can break these numbers down into individual components, but focusing on these 5 levers, remember, bringing back simplicity to start the conversation. Moving these 5 levers will give your clients a massive understanding about what drives business, what drives profitability, and what drives cash. If we can get them to understand their key numbers, get them to understand the main levers in the business, get them to understand what activities and actions need to happen to drive those levers, and what actions have the biggest impact on profit and cash, then we've done them a fantastic service as an accountant. We've helped them understand their numbers. We've helped them understand the drivers in their business, the dials, the levers that move their profitability and cash. We've helped them understand which levers move what in their business, by what percentage and what change. And we've helped them understand what actions drive what levers. Fantastic for business owners. And to help them understand where they should get to, all we're performing is simple sensitivity and what if analysis, and being that dumb person in the room asking, what if? Why? Why not? Couldn't you? And simple sensitivity analysis on each of these levers will give the business owner an amazing view of where they could get to. This is about helping them understand the future. Some people don't have a vision. We need to show them what's possible. And again, we can go deep or we can go light. This is for the 80%. This is not for the 20% that might need strategic planning and might need a day to focus on their vision and what that means and how they're going there. This is for the 80%. We can just play simple sensitivity what-if analysis to help them see a different picture of their business into the future. And calculating the gap is so simple for us as accountants. This is very basic. Where are you now? Where could you get to? What is that gap? Easy peasy. We get this. Now, the greatest thing that we can do as an accountant is provide the critical thinking at this point. We don't have to know what's right for the business to go for. It's their decision. It's their wishes, their wants, it's their future. But what we can do for them is provide critical thinking on that gap. If a client has been running at a 5% growth rate for 20 years and then suddenly says they want to double their profit, their revenue, then we can probably say, that sounds a bit of a stretch. This is where we can help, that critical thinking, breaking that big, hairy, audacious goal into a 5-year plan, breaking 5 steps, breaking those 5 steps down into 12-month chunks, and maybe even breaking those 12-month chunks into smaller bite-sized pieces so that we can see how the client can go along the way. Now, we've had clients that have built a crazy BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal plan for 5 years, broken it down into 5 chunks, looked at that and went, that's not too hairy, scary, broken the 12 months down into the 1-year step into 12-month steps. And lo and behold, they hit each month and they hit year 1. And then on the way to year 5, this is how do you climb a mountain one step at a time? How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? This is about planning, why planning is critical. It's not to say that the plan won't change, that we won't be hit by a storm on that mountain and we might need to camp overnight somewhere. We may not be taking the next step yet, or we may be changing the route that we're going to go. This is about understanding where we're going, having a route map to help us get there, and planning where we are against that route map and making decisions as we go along the line. This is why planning, and every single business owner needs a business plan. So help them understand the gap. But what we can do for them even better than this, than understanding the gap, is help them understand which lever has which effect on profit and cash. Because then we can understand which areas we need to focus in on so that we can really make sure that we're drilling into the right areas and putting the right activities into place and helping them understand what they need to do to drive profit and cash. So it's not just about the gap, it's about what gap is affecting what position in the business and what driver in the business. And then it's about creating a plan. Well, this is easy for us as accountants. The first plan is the easy one we know, the financial plan. Every one of us can create this. Now, whether we use Excel to do this, whether we use Futurely, Spotlight, you name it, whether we use Clarity to do your financial plan, whatever you use to do your financial plan, I don't really mind. This is about making sure that every single client can have a financial plan. Some will need that bespoke Excel model, no doubt about it. And I'm not trashing Excel. I know I'm a cloud advocate for years, but I am not trashing Excel. It is vitally important for some clients. But Excel is expensive. It needs a lot of man hours to do. And this is about how do we get all of our clients having a business plan. And sometimes as accountants, good enough is good enough. We always aim for perfection. We need to know 100% of the tax treatment. We need to know 100% how in accounting, the double entry. In a business, it's not perfect. Business isn't perfect. We often need to try A/B test, measure, monitor, see how things are going. And it's the same here. As accountants, we need to step back from perfection. Perfection sometimes is too hard to achieve and too expensive. And good enough is good enough. This is providing a good enough business plan here. And I've always been against last year plus 5%. If anybody's heard me on stage, I rail against plans last year plus 5% generally. But I've come to realize that for a lot of small businesses, last year plus 5% sometimes is good enough. Now, if you wonder why do I hate last year plus 5%, it's because that's assuming everything that went on in the past is good to go and we're just going to make it bigger. Whether the expenses are the right ones or whether the revenue is in the right area, we're just going to make everything bigger. It's like saying to somebody, you look really healthy, put on some more weight, I'm sure it'll all be fine. But in the absence of anything, last year plus 5% is a good starting point. Now, financial plan, this is critical. Every single business owner needs a financial plan. We all know how to do one. What's more important, or what's as important, sorry, not what's more important, what's as important is an action plan. We need to help our clients create a who, what, when action plan. Who is going to do what by when? This drives focus, this drives responsibility, this drives accountability. Focus, responsibility, accountability. In fact, you should use this with your team. Rather than meeting notes, you should just leave every single meeting with a clear list of who is going to do what by when, and then make sure you follow up. And this is exactly the same for your clients. And if we break down that action plan by levers, they know what actions are driving what levers, and we're teaching them as we go along. This is teaching by osmosis. It's not having to train anybody or educate anybody. It's just repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. If they understand what actions are driving what results and what levers are pushing what results, they're getting a much better understanding of the financial implication of their business, their numbers, what's driving what. So this is why who, what, when might look simple, but it's vitally important. And we know that business owners with written goals that are held accountable achieve 78% more. In my days in practice, I could certainly say it was more than 78%. It was definitely 100%. But at least 78% is a good starting point. So who, what, when, and hold your clients accountable. Have the nagging rights, have that stick to be able to hold them accountable. And then this is where we've always gone with business advisory. So we all know this part. This is the measuring and monitoring results versus the plan. Sometimes we don't have that plan and we're measuring and monitoring, and clients have no idea what they're measuring and monitoring. This is about having a plan and measuring and monitoring it properly. And there are plenty of tools out there to help you do this. But in all honesty, the simplest way to do this is budget versus actual and the variance. There's a variance, and there's probably 3 reasons for that variance. Either the activities haven't been undertaken, so the business owner hasn't had time to do them, or they have done the activities and potentially they weren't the right activities, or maybe they need tweaking, or maybe they need changing, or maybe the plan was cookie and we need to change the plan. Now, obviously we can't change the plan monthly because that's like hitting a rolling target. Nightmare from a management perspective to continuously change the plan. So we should only change the plan in extreme circumstances and possibly maybe only twice a year. But this is about putting a proper plan in place that we don't have to keep knocking off variances and saying, oh, well, we know that variance because of. But again, 3 reasons why there's a variance, or 3 main reasons. There will be other reasons, but 3 main reasons why there's a variance. The client hasn't done what they're supposed to have done. They've done it and it hasn't been done in the right way, or it needs a rethink, or the plan's wrong. And the next question is, what are we going to do about it? How can we help you do the activities that you're supposed to be doing? How can we change it and tweak it so that it works better? Or should we fix the plan, and what would be the revised plan? And it's also about holding that accountability. So have you done it? Why haven't you done it? Let's bring you back to why it's important. Let's create that focus. Let's hold you accountable. We know who's responsible. Let's hold you accountable, and let's have those nagging rights. So remember, I told you there's light and there's deep. I'm not going to go into this here, but this just shows you where you can get deeper for those bigger clients. You can get into more the clients that need a little bit more sophistication, or those clients that need a bigger piece of work doing. Then this is our examples of where you can take what we've done and expand it for the size and type of client. So this exact framework will work for a very small business, or will work for a multi-million-dollar engagement.
Just to explain that the way that we've created this methodology and the way that we look at things within what we do is that we always start with you, the accountant, at the very center of what's going on around you. And we want you to be the benefit. As we said, it's about fitting your own oxygen mask first and then helping others. You need to make sure that you're fit and healthy before you can do your best work and help other people. So we start with you, the accounting firm, you and your team at the very beginning. And the whole point of this, we've alluded to this as we went through the session today, is that ultimately in your business, you have a reason, there's an outcome that you want, and it's most likely one of or more of these, possibly all 3: time, money, and freedom. And certainly, as we talked about, money will help you buy back time and help you get freedom too, but it isn't always about money. You know, these are the things that are on your mind. So this is what we work towards, and the Thrive model helps you work towards achieving those things within your accounting firm, and of course helps you do this for your clients as well. And the way that we help you get that is we look at your clients, we look at your process, and we look at your people. And then within each of those areas, we focus down into those different sections that you can see on the screen. I'm not going to go through that with you now, but this is the fundamental model that underpins everything that we do. But it starts with you at the very center, because without you, that help, that moving the needle of those businesses on a local and national level isn't going to happen. So we need to look after you and the accounting firm and your team first. Now, one way that you can actually do that and start to take some action following this web session is look at you creating your own plan. And from there, you need to understand where you are and where you would like to get to and what the gap is. So just taking your own medicine, what we're saying about with helping your clients, you do exactly the same thing. And you can do that by visiting our Clarity Calculator, so clarity-hq.com/calculator. I'll put the information in the chat in a moment. There's a little action plan that you can follow up with yourself as well. So that's step one. Definitely go there, enter your numbers. It's completely anonymous. So it's safe to enter your numbers, put the information in terms of where you think that you can get to as well, and then you'll clearly see what the gap is for your accounting firm, and then you can start to do something about it. Once you've done that, what is then the logical next step is to then take the success factor quiz. Now, you could do this in isolation as well. If you don't want to do the calculator, you can go straight here. So clarity-hq.com/success factor. And here you'll be able to answer some questions very quickly. So less than 5 minutes, you'll be able to go through and get a score, quiz score for your business based on those areas of people, process, and client, and see where there's the levers, if you like, where you need a little bit more focus than others. And again, will help you get towards where you want to be with your accounting firm as well. And of course, you can get in touch with us too. We have built Clarity to solve these challenges and to work with that 5-step methodology so you can deliver business advisory services to that 80% of your clients moving forward. So I think we haven't got any other questions coming in, Ains, at the moment. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, I think we've had a very enjoyable hour. We hope it's been full of content. We hope it's given you a lot of ideas. I think the important thing to remember is that the value of any idea is only ever in the implementation. And so this is about what next steps you're going to take for your firm to fit your own oxygen mask first, so that you can create success for you and help create success for your clients. This is about adding value to your clients, which also adds value to your firm too. Now, the methodology that we've given you works both for your clients and for the firm. The 7 key numbers work for your clients, work for your firm. The 5 levers work for your clients, work for your firm. And the whole methodology is there for your clients and your firm. So I hope it's given you some insights. I hope it's stripped back the complexity on business advisory. I hope it's given you a route map to help your clients going forward. And do remember, everything that we've talked about can be done within Clarity. So if you want a tool to help you do all of that for all of your clients, engaging your team, then Clarity is a great tool for you to use. So thank you, Steve. I've had a good hour. I hope we've given some good ideas and good incentives for people to move forward, and I hope they take action.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.